Halloween is coming up, which means we need to make a new project. We have 1 week left. The theme that we're going to go with is an epic pumpkin ghost rider, putting a pumpkin on the ghost rider body with this leather jacket and the chains and adding a burning pumpkin hat on him. Basically, that's the sort of idea that we're going to go with. With every project that I do, I like to collect inspirations, ideas, or in general just references to fall back on or to kind of inspire myself and maybe incorporate some ideas, get some new ideas that I can then combine together into my own project, into my own character. This one is probably the best one. I think this has the coolest aesthetic. I really like the jacket that he has here. So we're gonna combine different features from different references and put them all together into our own character. We're gonna of course start with a sphere as always. And the first step will be blocking out everything. We're gonna add the clothing on top. I want to have the base body, of course, as the base layer, because then it's easier to add clothing. I think we're gonna stop at the hips when it comes to the torso. The arms will still be part of the sculpt. They're probably gonna be somewhere over here, maybe doing some sort of fire or whatever. And then once the sculpt is done, when it comes to the blockout, we can go into more details with more resolution and actually add the pumpkin head. Right now, we basically have the body ready, we have the head. Next step would be to add the clothing as well as some accessories. We're going to create the jacket as well as some gloves, and then maybe even the chain, maybe even some sort of spell that he has in his hand to proceed into the next step, which would be tomorrow we will very likely go into shading. So the idea that I had is either this way, so that it sort of looks like a leather jacket, or we have this thing that's kind of going over to the other side, and then there are these buttons there. I think we can combine the two by sort of copying what we have here and layering them on top of each other a little bit so that they still keep the layering but still look like a leather jacket. So we can kind of combine the two styles. First of all, we're going to just block it out and then we can add some more detail. So now that we have the model done, we will give all of this color. Because if you go into the rendered view right now, everything is white. But I want to focus on the jacket first, which shouldn't take too long. To be honest, I think that's pretty good. You can see here it's not too big, it's not too small. So now we have the leather material. Let's do the next one, which would be the pumpkin, which we actually need to do a new one for. So this is the pumpkin material. You can see we have some smaller bumps here. We have some color changes, some stripes maybe even. So first of all, color orange. Rule number 1, to make something look more realistic or more detailed, add variations. The easiest way you can do that is just to do that with colors. You know, use some textures or whatever to add some variation into the color. Well, that's better. If I switch it more to like an orangey red or reddish orange, I think that'll be better rather than making it darker. So we have the base color now. Let's go to the surface imperfections, the bumps, the reflections and all that. So if we set this to 0.35, the roughness, what we also need is subsurface scattering, but we're going to add that later. What I want to focus on first are the bumps. Okay, so we have some bumps here, which are way too big. The detail, first of all, adds smaller bumps, and then the roughness adds even more. It basically makes it grainier, you could say. There you go. I think that comes pretty close to what we want. The one thing that is really holding this down right now is that we have no subsurface scattering. So let's add some. Subsurface scattering basically means that the light penetrates the surface and then bounces around under the surface and then comes back out again, which then means that it shows the inner color. If we bring this to white, it'll look kind of whitish. If we bring it back to the original color, to this nice orangey red, it looks, yeah, more orangey red. I will finish the character, so I need to spend a little bit more time on it to really finish the entire thing, and then of course some post-production stuff.